Hey guys, this is Toby Mathis, and today we're going to deal with a pretty serious subject matter, and this is problematic, and I'm just going to raise the issue. I don't really have a solution. I just don't. And I'm going to share some things out with you so you can actually see this. It was a study done by Stanford. You can actually see the Institute for Economic Policy Research, so you can see it right there. And it was measuring and mitigating racial disparities in tax audits. And this is not a simple, basic one person doing an audit. This is a lot of folks, not just from Stanford, but it looks like we had several researchers from different institutions, including the University of Michigan and the University of Chicago, and the Treasury Department, including just a couple folks from the actual Treasury Department, Robin and Thomas, which is pretty interesting to get together and actually dive into the data. And I'm just going to put a pause here and say that for years I've said that the people that get audited most of this country are the poor. It's about 5-1. And if you've watched the tax and asset protection events, you know that I pull out the data from Syracuse University does a deep dive into the data every year. I go through publication 55 and a lot of the data that comes out of the IRS. And you can see that there's a definite disparity from economic conditions as to who gets audited in this country. In other words, you are more likely to be audited by 500% if you are poor than if you are wealthy in this country. And, there's a lot of reasons for it. Number one, poor people don't tend to get CPAs and attorneys and or even, they don't have professional taxpayers. Sometimes the laws are complex and they make a mistake, like on the earned income tax credit, which, might be a few $1,000s to somebody, and they may inappropriately grab it and they get a letter from the IRS saying, hey, we don't think you're entitled to it. And they just pay it. Here you go. Or they don't fight it and the IRS, gets more money, or the Treasury gets more money. So so there's a definite bias towards complex items that the poor tend to take that can cause a disparity, but it is literally a 5-1 disparity. Now, what this study came out, and again, I'm going to pop it back up on the screen because I want you guys to actually see this. This is so trippy to me because, again, you're going to see the numbers. I have no idea how they came out with this. Black taxpayers in this country right now are being audited about 2.9 to 4.7 more often than their counterparts. Here's the weird thing. The IRS doesn't know what race you are when they do the audits. And so I know there's a lot of smart people out there that are going to say, well, there's got to be a reason. I mean, I have my reason. I'm just going to kind of throw this thing up. But here we go, right here. I don't know if you can actually see it, but I don't know if I can highlight it. I don't think I can on this particular group, but you can just see it says, despite race-blind audit selection, we find that Black taxpayers are audited at 2.9 to 4.7 times the rate of non-Black taxpayers. And this is crazy. The main source of the disparity is differing audit rates by race among taxpayers claiming the earned income tax credit. Time out. What does that mean? It means that more people that are African American, that are Black, are getting audited even under the earned income tax credit. In other words, you're going to say, well, but what if there's more Blacks that are poor, and that's why they're having a higher audit rate? It's not that easy. Here, I'm going to show you this. This is going to trip you out. I'm going to find it. There's a great chart that, well, here's an easy one. This is the audit rate disparities amongst the earned income tax credit subgroup. And you look at this and you go, oh my gosh, it doesn't, like, there's no way they know your race, but the audit rates, you can see the dark purple, that's Black taxpayers and then everybody else, right? It's not even close. There's this huge disparity and they don't know race. Like, it has nothing to do with it. So there's something else that's factoring in the way that they grab audits that's actually appears to be racist. I don't like to say that, but I don't think it's intentional, but certainly seems to have a pretty disparate income. I can't think of anything else. It's not about, again, here's non-Black, Black. And here's the income, earned income tax credit, non-income tax credit, both cases. It doesn't matter. Higher audit rates. And then here's the graph I was actually looking for. Audit rates by income and race. There you go. The top line is the black versus non-black. It's just crazy. So it's not the income. It's just flat out blacks get audited more. This has got to be like mind-numbingly frustrating. For me, it's frustrating because I look at it and go, hey, we should have a fair system that should not have anything built into it that targets any particular group, right? We always say we can be mad at the wealthy, and the wealthy, we could say, hey, they should be audited more. You audit them more. It's not like they lose more that often. The people that lose audits, like if you want to get technical, or small businesses, which are just, it's a hodgepodge. It's just a whole cross group, small businesses that are sole proprietors, I should say, because small corporations hardly get audited. Small S corps hardly get audited. Small partnerships, it's like 0.1%. It's really small. Overall audit rate of the entire country is just over 0.5%. It's less than 1%. And you get into some of these groups, you get into the sole proprietors, you're going to be around 2%, sometimes higher. And then what we look at, guys like me, what we look at is how often do they lose those audits. And so that's one thing I don't see here. I didn't read in the report was it's not just how often are you audited, but how often do you lose that audit? And in the case of when I'm comparing businesses, I can see very distinctly that you have it's almost a 50% greater chance of losing that audit when you're a sole proprietor than when you're an S corp, for example. Like the audit, the change rate on a sole proprietor is 94 to 95%. You get audited a lot and you lose those audits when you compare it to an S corp. They don't get audited a lot, and then they lose, the majority of those cases, but not as bad as 90%. It's like in the 60s. So it's just like night and day. The difference between those. And here I'm looking at it going, what would be the difference here? Like, okay, you're getting audited a lot, but are you paying a lot more? My hunch is yes, because those people that get audited that are in the lower economic stratas tend to roll over and pay because they don't have the time or the money to fight. A lot of times they're working their katushes off to make ends meet. And the last thing they're going to do is hire an attorney or an accountant to go to bat for them. It's frustrating. It's frustrating as a country. It's frustrating as a tax professional. I don't know the answer, guys, but I thought you guys should know that our tax system does appear to have some built-in disparities based on race, and it's frustrating. And I don't know exactly what to do. So I was going to reach out to you guys and say, put in your comments what you think could be done as a solution. The whole system is very, very complex, and so simplifying it would be a solution. How we simplify it, whether you go to the fair tax and you do a consumption tax, or whether you just get rid of all the crazy tax credits and just do an overhaul of the tax system like they did in 1987, whether we want to do something like that or 86, whatever it was, when we did a huge major rehaul, whether we do a major rehaul like we did in 1997, which was the check the box regs and make it easier to do certain types of activities and cut some of the red tape and make it a little bit easier for businesses. But there's all sorts of little solutions out there. I'm curious as to what you guys find. But I was just fascinated by this study, and the study, again, I'll share this out just real quick. I'm sorry to do this kind of informally, but I thought it was just really amazing when I look at the data and you're just looking at this thing going, what the heck? And you look at this, it's just like, oh my gosh. But here, this study, this was a very recent study. This was January 30th of 2023. Again, I just looked at this and I was like, you got to be kidding me. It is just amazing. And I'll go through this in greater detail, but I did think it was worthy of getting eyeballs on it and getting attention towards it, because it does appear that there's racial undertones in the way that the system is playing itself out, whether it's intentional or not. I doubt it's intentional, but it's still, black taxpayers are audited 2.9 to 7.4, not percent, 2.9 times to 4.7 times the rate of non-black taxpayers. Crazy.